If you want to make your dream home spectacular, you have to follow these 5 tips. Simple as that. Empty house. It is what it is. It's going to be echoey.
Subscribe!
I've got 5 tips to help you when you're building your dream kitchen, your dream home, your dream bathroom, whatever it is, to get through the process, to get the things that you want. So let's go. This really should be the last in the list of tips that I'm going to give you, but it's the most important because I just got off a call with a client and she was worried about going back to her architect for the 3rd time. And I chuckled because you need to think about your designs like a living, breathing thing. And as you're doing this, you're learning, you're watching YouTube videos, you're going to showrooms, you're seeing what's out there, you're paying attention. Your reticular activating system is focused on your kitchen, on your house, on whatever it is you're working on. So be willing to make changes. You're not in it to make friends. Don't worry about going back to the architect with changes. Some revisions are built into your price. They'll be happy to charge you for changes after that, so don't worry about going back to them. Worry about it being right, because I can tell you from 20 years, for 20 years, the electrical switch for my daughter's closet was on the wrong side. It was behind the hinges. So you'd have to reach over here, open the door, get in. What happened was the light stayed on. I had to replace that bulb routinely. It was a tiny little mistake that I said, oh, I don't want to bother anybody. You know who it bothered? Me. 20 years. Make that electrician make that change. Move that wall. Make that bathroom bigger. Push out a closet. Do not be afraid to make changes while you're in the process. If you haven't done this before, or if you've done it once or twice, it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience for me, and I've done hundreds of homes. So be willing to make changes because it's your house. When they walk away, you didn't bother them. You're stuck with the results. Make the changes now as you see what you want out there, as you see great new things, as you get great ideas, as you figure out what you want in this process. We hope it gets done at the beginning. Sometimes it doesn't. Be willing to make changes. Be willing to go back to those people and fight for what you want. All right, so we'll go back to what should be number 1, and that is to realize this week I saw one client. I had to cancel several. I had to cancel doctor's appointments. I had to be here to move. I had to be here to meet contractors and do pre-walkthroughs and do all of those things. Recognize that it's going to take a lot of time. What you've just taken on is a part-time job at best. If you're going to GC or you're going to be involved in any of the process, it's more like 30 to 40 hours a week you've just added to your life. You may have a job, kids, a life going on outside of building. It's not your job, but it has now become your responsibility. So you need to prepare for that time that's going to be in your schedule. You're going to need to leave the office to make decisions, to shop on the weekends, to miss parties, to just work yourself to death while you get this house built. Give yourself the time. When people come to me for a consultation, they look stressed out. They look freaked out. They look confused. They look misunderstood, not heard. And I get it. Having spent the week talking to contractors, I totally get it. So you've got to eat your Wheaties.
You better eat your Wheaties.
And what I mean by that is get ready. You've got to prepare for what's coming. You've got to read every contract. They are boring as hell, but get into the details. You've got to research online websites that you don't understand, how to work the filters for how to order your recessed lights, which I will help you with. How to figure out what brands fit the features that I keep telling you you need to have. We'll go on websites and we'll search them. But that's one of the things you need to learn how to do. Nobody's going to teach you. Nobody's going to sit there and hold your hand unless you're paying top dollar for those lights. If I'm paying $600 a light, I expect a lighting designer to sit with me and go through my plan and make sure it works. But if you're not paying that kind of money per light, you're not going to get that kind of service. You're not going to get it from most interior designers because they're not formally trained in lighting design. Let's just be honest. Most of them have I don't know what most of them have, but they don't have formal training, because I can tell you, I have formal training, and Lighting 101 was not one of the classes that UCLA offered in grad school. Your contractor certainly doesn't know, because I have a long list of contractors that are in my client meetings because nobody's ever taught them otherwise. Light up a grid, make it even, make it symmetrical. I'm on a tear about lighting, but let's get back to doing your homework. So you got to read contracts. I was reading my plumber's contract and my GC's contract, and there were things that were overlapping. You don't want to pay twice for stuff. I got plenty of places you can burn that money. We want to make sure we catch that stuff. We want to read what's included in the specifications for your lighting, for your electrical, for your switches, for your dimmers, for your HVAC. You've got to read the details. If you don't, you just signed away. You got to read the details. I was speaking with a client last week, and she said halfway through the meeting, you know, if they had told me I needed to make these decisions now, it would have made everything easier. And so that's the next one. And the way that I like to do that and to start making those hard decisions about where my lights are going to go, what kind of furniture am I going to get, what size dining room table am I going to have, all of the little minutiae that you think you can put off needs to be decided in order to place the right lights, to choose the right flooring, to make a lot of other, to put the outlets where you need them, to make sure the door doesn't swing and hit your dining room table. All of those little annoying design problems that can come up later on can be avoided if you start to think about the layout of the house. And I mean the finished product. If you imagine how you're going to use the kitchen, how many stools you plan on having, how you want to sit around, how you want to be able to see your guests, how you're going to move around the house, or where the Christmas tree is going to go. All of these little decisions, if you envision how you're going to live in the house and you take that into your budget planning, then you're going to be way ahead of the game. It may help you to make design decisions. When you start to give an allowance, put a dollar amount on that shower fixture. How much is that going to be? Is it going to be $300? Is it going to be $500? $1,200? $2,200? You got to start looking and find out, because I don't know about you, but champagne taste, and I'm trying to be a beer pocketbook, is not working. When I look at the price of stuff these days, it is through the roof. You've got to know what you're getting into. So nobody wants to talk about a budget, but especially me, because of numbers and all of that. But when you put real numbers next to real objects, the project gets real in a hurry. I need a sink for this bathroom, this bathroom, this bathroom. How much do sinks cost? Is it $100? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? When you start to budget, it helps you to shop. And when you set filters on either the money or the style or the size, it also will help you to filter what's out there, because you cannot imagine the amount of choices that are out there for a toilet, for a sink faucet, for the depth of your sink, the size of your sink. When you start to get specific about how much you're going to spend, it's going to get you to look at what's out there, what it costs, what are the specifications, and it starts to help you filter all of the other decisions. For instance, let me show you. Don't mind the garbage pail. I have this hideous window here and this sink. Put you down over here. What I want to, stop wobbling. What I want to do, I can't have two sinks, and I want them because I like the idea of a little prep, a little cleanup, a lot of room. So what I'm going to do is one of these 45-inch massive sinks. By deciding on the sink that I want, it limits who I can choose for cabinetry, because who's going to have a sink base that's going to fit a 45-inch sink? When you get specific, it's going to help to narrow your choices. It's going to give you filters. It'll stop you from wasting time scrolling on Instagram for things that don't fit your size, your budget, your style. Make decisions, give them real numbers. They're estimates. We're going to shop. We're going to find things that are a little bit different. We're going to save money here, spend money there. But it gives you a framework to start. So what I like to do for my budget is to get the contractor's numbers all in there and all the work that it's going to include. And then start to work on all of the things that I'm responsible for. Because if you have done your homework and you've eaten your Wheaties and you've read your contract, you will know no lighting fixtures included. A lot of times kitchen cabinetry has an allowance or it's not included at all. Countertops, walkways, railings, staircases sometimes. There's a lot of stuff that's all on you. So in addition to the numbers that they gave you, start working out what are the numbers you're left with? What are the things that you're responsible for? What are the allowances that they've given you, if they've given you allowances for lighting, for countertops, for cabinetry? Don't necessarily go with what they have. I've been seeing a lot of these all-in-one shops. I've had a lot of them come and bid this job. And, you know, they do the tile, they do the cabinets, they do the demo, they do everything. A lot of times, you're limited in your choices. So I like to go outside of what they offer. So if you have the ability to go outside of some of the finishes that they offer and they give you an allowance, do that. You can shop smarter or you can shop better. If you stuck around for the last one, you are smart. Get help. And by help, I don't necessarily mean going and hiring a designer, but there's plenty of resources online. There's lots of showrooms. There are friends and family that have designed and built. If you have neighbors that have recently built, go knock on their door, ask them questions, look at their finishes, get their feedback. There's a ton of ways to find answers. I've had numerous contractors tell me things that I know aren't possible. So if you don't know, go do the research, go do the homework so that you come to it informed. They're not all experts. Go on Facebook, go on Instagram, Pinterest, Houzz. Use online resources. Obviously, YouTube, lots of YouTube. Binge watch YouTube, comment, share. This is good stuff. But go use the free resources that are out there. Go to showrooms, see what's available. Go to open houses. Talk to contractors. Talk to homeowners who have been through the process. My clients are some of the smartest designers out there because I've put them through the ringer as far as what do you want? Why do you want it? Is it going to make sense to your family? They know what to look for. They know how to start the process. Part of the stress, I think, is not knowing what's coming next. So when you talk to someone, when you see the results, when you watch the process, you get a better idea of what's coming next. What I should think about. Oh, I forgot about that. The bricklayer. I forgot about the HVAC guy. There's tons of great Facebook groups out there. I've gotten plenty of good information until I get kicked out for posting a video or two. You can find invaluable information about products you're interested in, interesting stuff you've never seen before, what not to do. Very important. When you're building, you want to ask as many questions as you can because you want to learn from their mistakes, not yours. Thanks so much for watching.